We've got to make it to the campground by nightfall.
I hope we find our way. This is a big place.
Look, you're picking the president's nose. Cut it out. Come on, let's go. You know, they look a lot smaller than I imagined.
Try to contain yourself, Thomas.
I can't help it, George. It's funny.
It's disrespectful.
Relax, Abe. It's just a joke.
The last day of carving was October 31st, 1941, but it wasn't officially dedicated until 50 years later.
Wow. Impressive.
Cool.
Did you know one man carved that whole thing?
Really?
True story. Ever heard of Paul Bunyan?
The giant
The giant lumberjack. I read about him in school once, but I didn't know who he was.
But Bunyan's as real as a June bug in January. But it wasn't, he didn't do this. It was actually his brother, Peter.
Peter Bunyan?
Peter was every bit as big as Paul. Some say bigger. But Paul, because he was older, got more attention. And mostly for chopping down trees. Plus, it didn't hurt that he had a giant blue ox named Babe. How's a guy supposed to compete with that? Anyway, Peter started out as a lumberjack, just like Paul. But what he really wanted to be was an artist. Ever heard of the man in the moon?
No.
Next time, what do they teach you in school these days? Anyway, next time you look up at the moon, you will see that its craters form an outline of a face. It was one of Peter's first projects. It was smooth before he got a hold of it.
I thought the moon's craters were caused by meteors hitting it.
And what's a meteor, you ask? A large rock. That's how he did it. He threw large rocks at the moon. He can't breathe in space. That's just crazy. Anyway, after the moon project, Peter was approached by Congress to do a sculpture of our past presidents. They had a spot all picked out in Georgia and everything. It was Peter's idea to do it in South Dakota. He said that mountains were easier to work on. That and the humidity.
Cool. What did they use to carve the faces out of?
Pine trees.
Pine trees?
Pine trees. And a boulder. So he would chop down the pine tree, and then he would strip its limbs off, and then use the pine tree as a chisel and a boulder as a hammer.
Really?
Took him 6 hours.
Is that true?
Is anything your father ever tells the truth?
I'm shocked.
You're also Mount Rushmore was designed by Gutzon Borglum. Nearly 400 miners helped create the monument, using dynamite, hammers, chisels, and drills, not pine trees and boulders. It says here that Borglum died just months before the monument was finished, but his son, Lincoln, finished the project. Come on, I want to see the Hall of Records.
I like your story better.
Me too. You know, they look a lot smaller than I imagined.
Shameful. What? Lying to the girl like that? In my day,
Here we go again.
in my day, we did not lie. Not to our children, and certainly not to our parents.
You pass out chopping down one cherry tree and everyone thinks you're a saint.
It's difficult to lie to one's father when he catches an axe in your hand. I believe the whole chariot incident did not happen. Isn't that right, George? Well, truthfully, no. The story was invented to demonstrate a point. Invented? So the story's a lie? The story is a representation of my inability to tell nothing but the truth.
It's a lie.
What do you three know? They didn't call me Honest Abe for nothing. Bah, some nickname. It's not like you're the father of our country. That's a nickname. Relax, George. We're just fooling with you.
Gather round,
children.
Come close, don't be shy. Steven, put that rock down.
Behind me, children, is Mount Rushmore, the largest work of art on Earth.
Can anyone name all 4 presidents? Yes, sir?
I can burp the ABCs. He can. I've seen him do it.
Thank you, Gary.
Miss Rangerman, are there any bears around here? Not at the moment. Yes, sir?
Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln.
Fantastic. Now,
Where are their bodies?
that's actually a good question. When the project first began, the idea was to carve giant statues out of the mountain with bodies and legs and arms
And feet?
and feet. But they soon realized how massive that project would actually be. With each face being over 60 feet tall, if they had added bodies, the statue would be taller than the tallest mountain. How long did it take to carve the faces?
14 years. They began work in 1927 and finished in 1941. They may have finished earlier, but they had to stop work during the winter months. Also, they had a problem with President Jefferson. You see how Jefferson's face is tucked behind Washington's? Soon after they started work on it, they soon realized that the rock wasn't strong enough to support it. So they had to blast away until they found the perfect spot. Jefferson might be the only president to have a facelift. My mom had a facelift. She did. I saw her face.
Thank you, Gary.
What's cool?
Yes.
Who made it?
An artist named Gutzon Borglum designed it, but it took hundreds of men to carve the statues out of the mountain.
How did they do it?
They used chisels and hammers and drills, but they started with dynamite.
Dynamite. Ooh. Yeah.
Thank you, Gary.
What's cool is that even though there are a few minor injuries, no one personally lost a life or get on the monument.
Aren't there more?
Or what?
President. I thought there were like 10 or 15. Where are the rest?
Actually, when they started on the monument, America was on its 30th president. Anyone know who that was? Miss Tinsley, how about you?
Wasn't that Calvin Coolidge?
Excellent, Miss Tinsley. You get a gold star. President Coolidge actually visited the site before they started work on it. He held a dedication ceremony not too far from the spot.
Now, to get back to Stephen's question, the artist Mr. Borglum picked who he thought were the 4 greatest presidents to that point. He chose Washington and Jefferson because they were instrumental in building the country. He chose Lincoln because he kept the country together during terrible times. In fact, he liked Lincoln so much he named his son after him. Roosevelt was his only controversial choice. Borglum and Roosevelt could actually be close friends, and Borglum thought Roosevelt's charm and energy symbolized the American spirit.
Now, if you will follow us back to the Visitor Center, you can buy a postcard or two to send to your friends.
They look a lot smaller than I imagined.
Miss Tinsley! Miss Tinsley!
What is it, Gary?
One of the heads winked at me.
I didn't see nothing.
It really did.
Of course it did. Come on, let's catch up with the rest of the group.
But.
Miss? What? It was a harmless wink. One of these days,
Hey, my nose itches. Blow on my nose.
blow on your own nose. Oh, great. Now my nose itches.
Hey, look, presidents. I told you we were going in circles. Maybe we should find a park ranger.
I think I remember seeing a ranger station back this way.
Lead the way. We will follow you there. Wow. Can you imagine having to sit like that forever? Just thinking about it makes my nose itch.